Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Hooray, Men Talking Health. I am your MC for this evening. I am Oya Gilbert. As a matter of fact, it's actually morning time where we're at, and we are on location in Jersey at the HealtheVoices conference. And I got a really, really dope program for you this morning. In the building, I have two different constituents, as you can see. I got my peoples in the building. I have Emmitt and Shanell, and they are both lupus patients and advocates, but also care partners to one another. Just a dope dynamic. I can't wait for this episode and them to tell us more about themselves. So I'll turn it over. And Emmitt, please introduce yourself.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you guys for having me on. So my name is Emmitt Henderson III. I reside out of California, San Diego, California.
Okay.
And, before being an advocate, which was 30 years ago, I was just a young, proud brother that's just trying to live life, have fun,
Right.
and definitely in the hip hop realm.
Okay. And Shanell.
My name is Shanell Matlock. I also go by GI Shane. I'm originally from Wichita, Kansas. I currently reside in San Diego, California with my partner, Emmitt. Before Emmitt and I met each other, I served in the military. I actually made history while serving in the military. I'm the very first female, the first minority female to be a tabbed honor guard soldier. And I was also a 56 Mike. That was actually what my MOS was. I was a chaplain assistant. So I was a bodyguard for a chaplain, and I provided religious support and counseling to troop members and their families. I'm also a mother of all sons, 6 in total.
Okay.
4 that are biologically mine and 2 that are mine by heart, but they're mine. Unfortunately, only 4 of them are here living. And I'm a grandma, and I'm here with them with Lupus.
Listen, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Y'all better get ready, because this is going to be a really, really great program. So Shanell, I want to say first, thank you for your service. Emmitt, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So first and foremost, let's just get right out the way. Explain to them what lupus is.
Ooh, okay, so lupus is an autoimmune disease where your immune system attacks its own self. With that, let me give you a good example of that. So you have, an illness, a cold. Your immune system turns on to correct and fix that.
Correct.
In people with lupus, our immune system turns on. We may not have any common cold or disease, so it's ravaging through our body trying to find something, and instead of those markers that are foreign and bad, it attacks our organs. And that can cause anything from organ failure to joint pains to muscle aches to bone density loss. Brain, it just affects everything, and it's not a friendly disease, and there's no cure.
So a lot of the times, most blood disorders aren't curable.
Right.
And there's a lot of overlap. I always think about the Venn diagram when it comes to these types of diseases. Obviously, I'm living with multiple myeloma, and it does attack the bones as well and their density. So, this is, and it also creates issues with mainly like the kidneys.
Yeah.
But it's just a huge overlap. So I know that you guys have an interesting story on, because I got to get into the part of how you met. I know you got an interesting story with that. But I want to shoot to Shanell and say to you, as far as lupus is concerned, when was you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good.
I thought that was a question.
It is a question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed in 2011.
Okay. And how? What led up to your diagnosis? What was happening? What symptoms were you facing? What challenges created that situation to get to the diagnosis?
So I don't have a typical lupus story.
Okay.
It wasn't a lot of turmoil, but in 2008 prior, I had been in a rollover accident in the military, and I almost lost my life. I pretty much broke every bone in my body. I lost half my left lung. I have rods and pins and screws in my spine. I haven't had amputation on my foot. So it's been a lot. And so there was a period of time, those 4 years, I was not only healing from this accident, but suffering with some severe side effects, I would call it.
Okay.
And then in 2011, you know, I felt I should be better, you know. And I was showing some skin lesions and on my face, and I went to, my doctor actually called me one day out the blue and said, how come you haven't come in to discuss your results? And my lupus results. And I'm like, my what? And so I went in and discussed it. And I am so thankful that God had me where he wanted me at that moment in my life, because my doctor sent me to a wonderful pain management and rheumatologist.
Okay.
I'm actually allergic to pain medication.
Wow.
So it makes for a very interesting life.
You got a tough climb.
Man. And so it wound up that this woman, Dr. Solani, she's now retired, she taught me how to use seasoning. She taught me how to use just natural remedies to treat pain, and encouraged me mentally in my health journey. Like, it's mental when you're going through this pain.
That's true.
You know?
So you mentioned that the doctor said, why did you not come check your test results for lupus? Did they test it with, unbeknownst to you, or?
They had drawn blood.
Okay,
You know,
and so they were testing for things
yes,
to see what was going on. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Emmitt, I'll bring the same question to you.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you guys, back in 1990, well, further, 1980 as a kid,
Okay.
I was this young kid, hyper energetic, running around, but breathing problems, fevers, and then rash. People in the lupus community have what is called a butterfly rash on their face.
Okay.
Us as dark-skinned people, to us kind of hard to see, but yet at the same time I detected like I was always hot in my face all the time. And so my parents took me into the hospital, and all that led to was fevers and rash that they diagnosed as unknown origin. They don't know what was causing them or anything. So I'm a kid, I'm gonna live life, man. I'm having fun, and we move on until about 12 years later where I started getting joint pains.
Okay.
Now at this time, I'm a young person of color that got promoted as a manager in a big dealership for automotive and trucking.
Okay.
And I was good at what I did, but there was that, are you too young? Can you handle this position? All kind of things that could have went against me. So because I was promoted, and then in 1993, the joint pain started, man, I got dismissed so many times. Young brother, you know, I was looking decent, I was working out, I'm in a uniform. I go into the hospital saying my wrist hurts. They looked at me and was like, nah, put some ice on it, go home. That person's coughing up a lung. We're gonna take care of him first.
Right.
So, man, this went on for 3 years after 2 years after complaining about different joints. I stopped going. Then in 95, when the pain, you know, changed into my lower back, I just felt I had to go. There's something wrong, and there's no joint in my lower back. I went in this time. Now they told me that my kidneys are failing, and they needed to know why. So in addition to the kidney failure, they found out that I had a rare type of blood for a young black man. For my ethnicity, my age, and my gender, there was no way I'm supposed to have this disease called lupus. Never heard of it before, and then my rheumatologist came in and told me it was a woman's disease. So, man, now I'm in more denial because, you know, first I keep denying that you guys tell me nothing's wrong. I'm believing nothing's wrong. Now you tell me, is it a woman's disease? No, I don't want that. So what can I do? Did not know what the rest of this life was gonna hold with this. Got the diagnosis in 95, and between 95 and say 2012, I went through every organ failure. I went through joint replacements. The most notary failures was my heart, my lungs, and a brain disease. And man, you know, statistics say that lupus is more severe in men than it is in women.
Really?
For you guys that don't know about lupus, lupus is 10% of men. 10% of lupus patients are men. 90% are women. So again, being in my high position that I was, where almost all my whole crew of over 100 were under me, older than me, I did not disclose I had this disease for a fear of finding some way to knock me off my status.
Yeah, right.
You know what it is? So I just kind of went with it. dealt with it, and God blessed me to be able to hold my career to 2019.
Whew, that's a lot to unpack, man. I don't even know where to go. I would think, from one standpoint, a nugget that came out of it. You talked about it being more a situation where lupus is more men than women. However,
Or more women than men.
more women than men.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. But the funny thing is, you mentioned something the other day about the advocating space with lupus and not seeing men in general, and especially not black men, advocating for lupus. What put you there to that space of saying, you know what, because you had a ton of organ failures.
Oh yeah.
Thank you God you're still here.
Thank you.
I definitely want to know how you process, and as you too, Shanell, you've been through a lot physically outside of just the lupus, you know, how you process that mental thing. But what made you say, I'm going to start advocating?
So in 19 that I had mentioned is when I went through the most. 2019, lupus also attacked my brain. So I had a brain disease, and I managed to keep my career, believe it, through all the years up till then. The brain disease would not let me go around heavy machinery, nor be able to be in a management position. So my doctors would not let me go to work. Now keep in mind, this whole time working was my focus to wake up every day, you know, move and hustle and forget about the pain, even though the failures, the medication,
we do that all the time.
And I fought through it, man. And when 2019 came and they told me I had a brain disease, I thought it was devastating for me to lose my career. But God told me, you know what, Emmitt, you fought this hard. You're not done yet. You need to do something. Man, I picked up a pen and a paper. I decided to create my own organization to talk about some of the things that weren't there for me in the 90s and 2000s. Can I pick up the phone and call another brother that has a chronic illness and say, how are you dealing day to day?
Right.
Can I pick up the phone and say, guys, I want to join this support group? None of that was there. So I decided that I know
this wasn't like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is just recent.
Right. So I'm just like, you know what? I feel like there's somebody out there that's in my position today than I was 20 plus years ago. And I want to bring that to this person today, that you do have a brother to talk to. I've walked through your shoes. I can help you. And there's no judgment, man. There's no embarrassment. You know, we strong as men. We kings already, right?
Right.
And we don't have to feel any less because we got a chronic illness.
Right.
So
or show emotion.
Or show emotions.
You know what I mean? That's a huge in our community, as you well know.
Because the average person, the average man, should I say, when it comes to showing weak or vulnerability, we don't talk about it. We shy away from it. But yet, why are we holding it in? Stress,
right, that part.
More health problems.
Right.
We don't need
we
to.
just compounding upon the situation.
But there's not too many safe spaces that we can escape and have this outlet to talk about it. So trying to have this movement that I'm having, and then now with Shanell helping me by my side, man, I'm just trying to be this force to let brothers know, any man know, woman know, that anybody with a chronic illness, it is okay to not be okay, and we are not victims to this illness.
I mean, I appreciate that, though. That's a great transition. Shanell, you being that other half, that other component, the neck, as they guys says.
My rock.
Yes, please, same question, you know, how did you get into advocating? And then you can tell us the story of how y'all two met. Okay. Because, you know, you don't just fall out of the sky and bump into each other. You know what I mean? So please share that portion of how you started advocating.
So initially, most of my advocating has been about mental health due to my job in the military. You know, I was dealing with a lot of suicide intervention and prevention, PTSD, battle fatigue, stress disorders. While I served OEF and OIF were really hot and heavy at that moment. And there was a period of time while I was serving that I saw that soldiers every 2 days in a summer were dying. And I was attached to an infantry unit at that time. And something just told me, like, this is not right. This is not right. You know, I knew these men before they went to war, and seeing them come home, I knew who they were beside the chaos. I knew who they really were inside, you know. And so I helped rewrite a program for the state of Kansas in the National Guard of how we dealt with soldiers coming home. And we created a 3-month, 6-month, and 9-month process.
Okay.
Because when you come home, or even when you're in your immediate crisis, whatever it may be, your diagnosis, or mental illness, whatever it may be, you so much is being thrown at you. You don't really retain it, you know. And when you go through another crisis, it's good that people know, hey, I need to check on them about this time. I need to see if the weather or seasons have changed in their moods, you know. And so what I found is that every soldier that came home during the briefings, they didn't care about it. You know, you just want to get back to your loved ones. So when they go through the crisis, they don't know what to do, you know, because they didn't
get any tools, right?
Yeah. So when you catch them and have them come back in on a briefing in 3 months, you start asking them about their battle buddies and, hey, what have they been, and you find things out, and that was my job.
Okay.
And so anyways, after getting out and being hurt, Lupus actually took me out of the military, and I just continued to spread messages about lupus, but mostly I have advocated in the veteran community.
Okay.
You know, that was what I was hot and heavy with. To lead up to me and Emmitt getting together, I, myself and 18 other female veterans, we wrote a book called Veterans Unchained, Breaking the Cycle of Trauma One Link at a Time. We are all from different campaigns. We are all different ages and different backgrounds and different religions. We became #1 best-selling authors and international best-selling authors in Christian ministries and family and military families. I was in Las Vegas, and I don't know at what point, but I'm in a lupus forum group. Emmitt posted about men's mental health.
Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes.
And I was so impressed as a mother of minority sons to see a man be bold enough to talk about the importance of men's mental health. That impressed me so much. And I simply commented publicly on the forum.
Notice how she pointed that out publicly.
It wasn't my DM.
Yeah, but it didn't slide in. Not yet.
And I said, thank you. You know, thank you for being brave enough to stand up. You know, as a mother, I appreciate you. You know, I have a son who has severe mental health issues. And I don't know, Emmitt messaged me, and it wasn't anything about dating. It just was simply, hey, you know, I just, you know, do you have lupus? You know, this, that. And then we just started talking, you know, sharing different experiences with our lupus journey.
Right.
And then he was coming to Vegas for a lupus walk, and
lupus to love. Here it comes. Here it comes.
I had just had surgery on my foot to have my partial amputation, so I couldn't go anywhere. So he came and visited me, and he's never left my side, and I've never left his.
Come on, dog.
But you know, it gets deep too, because you know, at the time, it was just a place in my life to where I was so heavily involved with doing everything. I myself is an author as well, and I was in the process of writing a book, but I had this big trip coming to advocate in Africa. And so I had asked Shanell, you know, with the book, with all of these engagements that I got coming up, maybe come to San Diego with me and help. And while I'm in Africa, stay in my place. And she loves San Diego, beaches, weather, man, just everything. And so I went to Africa for a month, advocated in Africa. But the highlights of it definitely was the lupus meeting, politicians, lupus support groups, city officials. Then before that, Cairo, Egypt, man, got to see the pyramids. And then the last week, we did a hike up Kilimanjaro.
Come on.
So, you know, for me to have something come across such a big international trip like that, you know, going back to Africa was something that never thought I would end up doing. But this lupus life, you know, brought me to help bring awareness to lupus in the people of Tanzania that were dying from illnesses. And we went out there to kind of help them recognize some of the lupus symptoms. So unfortunately, going up the mountain and then coming home, I got really sick. And finding out that I was in my second kidney failure a week or so after I got home. And so the few, should I say, month or so that me and Shanell got to, be together in a normal capacity with minimum lupus symptoms,
Right.
I went from 100 to a -5 with my health. And so that was 3 years ago. And here she still is with me on my side. And one thing that has never stopped is us spreading our lupus awareness, kidney disease awareness. We've both been through on stages together. We've both been through conferences together, Capitol Hill together. And it's crazy how people look at us and be like, you both are sick, you both gone through things. How are you doing this? How are you doing that? But to me, that's crazy that they question about us. How are we doing things when they're not praising that at least you're doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, first and foremost, this is important because, you just never, it's, that statement where it's always someone out there in a worse situation than you.
Yes.
And you just never know what people are going through when you look at, the outside of a person and their exterior. You think, oh man, you guys, wearing it well. And we do that, especially, from a minority standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
We tend to take on those trials and tribulations a lot better than others. But the point is that I like the fact that you said, hey, we still moving forward,
That's right.
even with all these health conditions that we have. And for me, I think I've said to a lot of people a lot of times, is I really don't know what else to do.
Right.
Right. I just don't know how to sit still and just accept the disease. I always say the disease is with me. I'm not living with it. It's
That's
living with
it.
me because I'm still in control. And that's what I feel the energy from you too. And I wanted to talk about the dynamics. You said you went to Africa. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. But you told me a really cool story about the 8 seconds. And I wanted to, I'm gonna let you share it because it's profound. So please share that with us.
Okay. This past May, Emmitt found out that he had a bone-eating bacterial infection, and it had suspended him from the National Donor Registry. He could not receive a deceased kidney. However, he could receive a living kidney donor. So just the way they presented it to Emmitt and the information, we both were mad,
As you should have been.
And it was a fight or flight moment, And I just said, honey, I remember I didn't say anything. I actually remember, I'll say this, we were in the car. I didn't say not one word. He's not, I know he's mad. And he's like,
yeah, you don't know where to go.
Right, exactly.
It's like my life is on hold.
Yeah.
What?
But he goes, why aren't you saying anything?
Maybe not that bad.
And I was like, I don't know what to say. And we just stopped talking. A few hours went by, and in my mind, I'm very rooted in my faith. And I said, you know what? We're going to do a living kidney donor drive. And we're going to put the word out that you need a living donor. And so within a few hours, I reached out to other advocates in our community that we work with. And I had a who, what, when, and where. I had a DJ, I had a building, I had a food vendor. It came together in a matter of hours.
Speakers.
Yes, and speakers.
I
had living donors, several of them. And then my job was gracious enough to give me raffle items. And so serendipity as it plays sometimes, we went to Lupus. This is a Friday that we had the bad news. We go Saturday, we have to go to LA to a Lupus Award ceremony. And as we're on the red carpet, Cedric the Entertainer comes up to us and he greets us and he says, hi Emmitt, hi Shanell, nice to meet you. And Emmitt and I look at each other, and Emmitt says, "You know us?"
I'm like,
Right. I would have said the same thing.
wow.
But he said, "I have followed your story in the Lupus
Man.
LA's, and for whatever it was that he had seen." So he recognized who we were. And that was really sweet. His daughter has lupus.
That's
and-
what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Was there,
Yes.
Thanks.
And his mother had lupus. Unfortunately, she passed.
I didn't know that.
So, anyways, we get off the carpet and we're excited, and I hear my grandma's voice saying, closed mouths don't get fed, baby.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
And I told Emmitt and another friend, man, I should have asked him if he'd give me a quick sound bite to encourage people to come to your drive.
And donate.
And they kind of, they do that laugh like, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But Emmitt goes,
Sounds cute.
Yeah. Go see what happens.
Yeah, right. Good luck with
What's
that.
the worst, right?
Yeah.
What's the worst?
So I go up to him and I said, excuse me, and he was gracious enough to give me a video.
Yeah.
And then I'm fangirling at this point, but I think I see another star, but I'm like, no, I'm going to just sit here. But it was really busy, and I was actually flaring that day, and so I was hurting. So I said, honey, I'm going to go sit over in this corner where nobody is around. I just need a moment.
Yes.
So he's mingling. I go and sit down. This beautiful couple comes up to me, and they ask me if they can join. I said, sure. Of course, we strike up a conversation, and come to find out he's Marcel Spears.
One of his co-stars.
ABC's
Yeah, one of his co-stars. Yeah,
co-stars. Co-star. So I said, I said, your co-star graciously, gave me a video, and Marcel Spears' brother has lupus. And I immediately said, wow, my fiance has lupus, and not very many, minority men have it. That's awesome. We should connect, And I said, would you give me a video? And he said, yeah, and he jumped on the carpet and did it. When we left, and I'm putting the video, I want to see it and everything, I realized each video is 8 seconds long. And everyone knows about time is money, right?
Time's valuable.
And it's wealth,
Yep.
And so I really sat and thought about this, and God just, look at what it might have cost if I wasn't brave enough just to ask.
You just never know.
$1,000 a minute.
Probably Cedric, maybe, both of them, that could be about 50K, 100K.
Man.
From a value standpoint, but huge.
Yes, and it was so valuable to me because they were big voices to lend a hand, freely.
Yeah.
Shout
And
out
it
to
just made them
Cedric, dog.
human.
Shout out.
Cedric and Marcel Spears.
Cedric,
Yeah, Marcel.
Yes,
Yeah, shout out to y'all.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
a powerful thing that they did
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you said you took the 8 seconds and did something with that. What did
Yes.
you do with
So
that?
I have created a campaign, and the 8-second campaign is that I feel that we can use social media to make 8-second videos encouraging people to donate a kidney for my fiance Emmitt and the thousands of Americans suffering with kidney disease today. They can always reach out to me at gmail.com. I'm sorry. G.I. Shane.
There you go.
There we go. G.I.Shane78 at gmail.com.
Yeah. And don't worry, it's all going to be in the comments. We'll put all that data in the description anyway.
Yes, and you can send your video there, your 8-second clip. If you want to know what you should say in the clip, or if you want some sound bites, or if you want just a little phrase, or some statistics or whatever on lupus, I can send you information.
Absolutely.
I have two buddies of mine. One had stage 5 renal kidney failure. Well, both of them did. One did receive the kidney. The other one is still waiting.
Bless
So I want to give a shout out to Philip Davis. He is also, you can go to be on the registry for the Gift of Life.
Yes.
The Gift of Life is a huge organization towards organ donors, living and deceased.
Yes.
And so just want to make sure make sure that's clear. I know your time's valuable, and all that wonderful stuff. I just wanted to say about the strength thing. You two have been through a lot, and I don't want to discredit other people out there. I'm sure they've been through things too.
Definitely.
What is it? Just explain to me the one thing that keeps you through those tough times. Because it's just you're unpacking it right now.
Right.
But it's certainly a process. There's tears, there's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What has kept you, Emmitt, going through all that? What gives you that strength?
I think what gives me the strength is, for one, my mental health got me through the physical downs of this disease from 30 years ago. Here I am today in my second kidney failure. I just had back surgery with pins and rods 2.5 weeks ago. I have a few more surgeries lined up. But, guys, I lived this long. God kept me here, and His will with me is not done. Mm-hmm. So my strength is that this is something I'm going to get over. The back's getting better. The kidney's going to come. Surgeries are going to be done and healed. Mm. And so I look forward to that. And because I look forward to that with positivity, it's going to happen. And for me, it's my goal. It's my goal. Because to me, my voice in telling my story is what's helping others and us as a couple. And I got to keep doing that. So I got reasons, I got drives, I got goals.
Say less. I love it. Shanell?
I think what keeps me going the most is definitely my faith in God. I have witnessed Him in so many different ways that I have, as a chaplain assistant, I had to learn about all the religions that the military acknowledge and provide religious support and services to those faiths.
Yeah, you can't be.
And so you have to be completely non-biased. And 9 times out of 10, you do not serve with the same chaplain of your own faith. And we are a very small corps. Small corps. Almost every chaplain or chaplain, we could probably know each other in some way, right? Mm-hmm. It's that small. And it's usually one chaplain and one chaplain assistant to a whole battalion, So I've just seen God show up so many times that He is there.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that, I prayed for Emmitt. I prayed that I could meet a man that would understand lupus or be willing to understand my illness. And I didn't know He was going to send me a man with lupus.
You were supposed to be specific.
Right. I think of my granny.
There was an asterisk.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say without lupus.
Yes, I could think of my childhood preacher saying, be specific when you're praying. Yeah. But no, in all reality, yes, there are wonderful days and there are some horrible days too. Yeah. But going through some of the things I went through, barely surviving what I went through, I always want to treat people how I was treated. Mm-hmm. So Him being sick wasn't a reason to leave Him, but and it was hard, but I have had to learn that sometimes His anger isn't really anger towards me. What it is, it's that pain.
Chronic,
all-encompassing pain. Because I go through it too. Mm-hmm. I have to check myself, okay, come on now. And it may not be something we say out loud to each other, but it's definitely something that I do inside. And then communicate.
That's in any relationship.
Yes.
That's right.
There's been good times and there's been some bad times. But again, I feel like God has shown us the way to communicate with one another.
And but on top of that, just the fact that being a man, I don't have to hide some of the things that are hurting me to make me feel like I'm on top of the world because I need to impress my woman. No, when you have a chronic illness, sometimes that illness will drop you down a few steps, but what's most important is take more steps going forward. And I make up for that in so many different ways, so yeah, she's right. We have to communicate, and I don't feel, again, like if I'm hurting and she asks me if I'm okay, there's still that man in me that says I'm okay, but yet sometimes inside, man, I'm not really okay. Yeah. But I don't want her to worry.
Right.
But I know that she understands.
And it's that delicate juggling act of balance
and dynamics
of a relationship.
Yes.
And Shanell, I can just watching you guys, I can tell, even with those times when he probably is saying, "Oh, I'm good," you know, you
no, you're
not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what can I do?
Right.
Definitely.
And how can I help? I'm certainly a firm believer in God. Thanks for sharing about that military aspect that I had, no idea about. From a standpoint that you have to be biased, in that scenario, because there's all kinds of different faiths and beliefs in that entity, that organization.
Right.
Yeah, man, I'm so appreciative that you two joined the program today. I want to give you an opportunity before I go into my, final questione. Just give the people one last tidbit on, whatever you want to say as far as a closing statement to lupus patients out there across the world.
What I would say to lupus patients around the world is that you are not defined by lupus. Lupus is a part of you, yes, but you are whatever you want to make yourself.
In general, for anybody out there that's going through anything, whether it's lupus or any other type of chronic illness or disease, you will experience pain. But one of the biggest things and best things that I do, and one of my mottos that I say is, find a way to turn their pain into power. If you turn that pain into power, your power will basically have that pain fade away, because now you have a better, greater cause in what you're doing in life. It doesn't have to be advocating, it could just be showing up.
Right.
For your people, your kids, your family, life, letting people know that you live with this illness, but you're a stronger person than your illness. So turn that power into pain. And that pain into power.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
Lupus to Love. I think I might title that episode "Lupus to Love." It just popped in my head.
Thank you.
But the point is, I thank you guys so much for both being on here. It's important to understand, no matter what type of disease you have. Listen, if you just deal with the disease alone, that's enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an advocate. You don't have to be an author and all these different things. If you just say, "I'm waking up and I'm just dealing with this disease and tackling it," that is enough. So I close my program out the same way. When you want to get psyched up, geeked up, hyped up, and all that wonderful stuff, I just need one hip hop song.
Oh,
That's
man.
it. I just need one hip hop song, I think. And since you did that, I'm gonna go to Shanell first.
I don't know if that was better, because we both are music.
Oh,
man.
man.
Take your time, Shanell. Give me one, we'll wait.
Oh gosh.
Come on, you know a lot.
That's why it's so hard. What do you mean? It'd probably have to be like, I don't know.
Well, you know what? You think and marinate on that?
He's ready. He's ready.
I'm a huge music person. Like, oh my gosh, this is hard.
Hip hop for me is what kind of keeps me going. I was in a coma and they told me they put headphones on me with Tupac's album on, and they saw that I was just kind of moving in my coma, so they knew I was resonating to it. But the one song that I would go to is a new current song off of Snoop's new album, and resonates definitely with my journey with chronic illness, and it's called Live Life. So listen to Snoop's song Live Life, and I reflect on that, because God's telling me to live life. He's going to throw me all these bad cards, but he says, Emmitt, live life with them. They don't run you, you run them. And man, I'm trying to live life every day. Here we are at a convention, 2,000 plus miles away from California, but we're living life to enjoy it, spread our word, spread our message. And man, come on now. That beat is still constantly in my head.
Okay, so I had to pull my list.
That's
like,
fine.
I literally
You got a
have
playlist.
albums.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
Lord.
I literally have like so many
I love
albums. So, but my favorite would probably is the one Is You. It is the one with Q-Tip, Lucy Pearl. You. I love that song. In the morning on the way to work, like, I'm always playing at least once. I don't know why, but I just absolutely love that song.
Inspiration.
And that's my pump up song.
Yes. So hip hop has been a soundtrack to my life.
Yeah.
It's been a soundtrack to a lot of people's life. It actually saved my life, as you was mentioning. So this is what we do. Thank you again both for being on the program. And as I always do, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer. But a special shout out to be on location at this event. And peace out.
Peace.
Keep 5-0 guessing. Yes.
That was dope.
Yes.
That was
Let's
dope.
go. Oh, I can't wait to edit
Love
this
it, guys.
stuff.
Love it, man. Thank you.
No, thank you guys, man. Listen, I told you, Did I tell you?
Yeah.
Now you see why I said.
Well, she had asked me yesterday because she talked about something, and I said, well, speak to him. About
Oh, what? Oh, that was the setup. It was the setup.
Hey, but see, that's how you two work together. That's how you good.
He didn't even tell me.
No.
He's like,